So, welcome to Getting There with Amy Claire. Today we have Rachel Joseph. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Amy. How are you?
I'm good. Good. How are you? How are
I'm
you
very well,
feeling
thank
right
you.
now?
I'm good. I've had a cup of tea and a Jaffa cake, so I'm really good.
Yeah, best of British, really. Makes everything better. Cup of tea. Yeah, so as I
Absolutely.
say, thank you for coming on the show, first of all.
I got you, girl.
Uh, I'm looking forward to this, to be honest, because I can chat for Ireland. And as I say, I'm looking forward to listening to your story about how essentially you got to where you are right now.
Sure.
So, just as a, to start off, can you just kind of introduce your kind of background and just give the listeners kind of an overview of who you are?
Sure. So, yes, my name is Rachel, and I have a very strong American accent, as you can tell. I mean, I don't know. You may or may not be able to tell.
Depends where you're from.
Yeah, exactly.
Really, I thought it was Australian
Excuse
the
me.
whole time.
No, I'm Irish, actually. Well, people think I'm Mexican, because I mean, I'm as brown can get, and I have a very strong American accent. So the only association they can, or the only thing they can link to is Mexico.
That's ridiculous.
I know, I know.
It's actually interesting you say that because when I go to America, they think my accent's Australian a lot. I mean, I'll be honest, I'm not complaining. but
Why not?
but it's interesting, yeah, how people kind of like perceive a different accents.
Yeah,
I
yeah, yeah, yeah,
suppose,
yeah, yeah. Exactly.
But
That's
so you have the
interesting.
American accent. Can you
I
explain
do.
so?
So, I was born in India
Yeah.
in a cosmopolitan city called Chennai, which is down south, and it is the capital of the south. And I went to an international school, which is, to be fair, the school itself wasn't international. I had a lot of international friends, expat friends, who I think they moved from Singapore. And I know that folks from Singapore have a very strong American accent.
Okay.
So I guess that's where I initially picked that up from. And of course, my mom's side of the family, a whole bunch of them moved to America a long time ago. And so, like, growing up around them or like speaking to them growing up, that kind of influenced my accent too. So, yeah, excuse me.
Off the
That's,
cigarettes now, please, Rich.
I can't help it, Amy. I can't help it.
I'm an addict.
I'm an addict.
No, it's okay.
So that's where like the accent comes from.
But you've lived in the UK. You said you were born in India. So when did you? How long have you lived in the UK for
So
then?
I've lived in the UK for over, yeah, 15 years
Okay, yeah.
now. 15 years. That's crazy. Feels like yesterday. Like I
Yeah.
remember when we first moved. Um, so we moved 15 years ago.
Yeah.
Yes, and I was only a little kid, and it was all crazy, like moving from one culture to another. But because I think I was young enough to kind of adapt
Yeah.
into the new culture. It was interesting. It was fun. I didn't have a lot of friends back then.
Were you nervous when you came when you moved?
Oh, that's a good question. Was I nervous? I don't think I was nervous. I think I was
Excited?
excited,
Yeah.
scared, maybe.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah, I guess that ties in with nervousness. But I think I just took life as it kind of
That
hit
kind
me.
of classic kind of child mentality, isn't it? You're just kind of
Yeah,
going with it, which is quite nice. I
exactly.
think sometimes adults we can kind of lack that, can't we? We just kind of going with the flow. Kind of just get
Exactly.
caught up with everything.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
At the stage of life I'm in, I'm moving again. So now I can be excited as an adult. I can think back to when I first moved countries for the first time, and I can appreciate how I felt as a child
Yeah.
as to how I'm feeling right now. So
So you're kind of you've just kind of explored a little bit of your background there. For like now, what kind of like industry would you kind of describe that you're in right now?
that's a good question. So IT is
Yeah.
is where I'm at right now. Science and technology, yeah, has been like my passion from a very young age. Like I grew up studying science, and both my degrees at university, both my undergrad and masters, have been in forensic sciences. So like I I have a lot of love for science and technology. The reason why I chose to move away from anthropology, or rather put a pause on anthropology and move to IT, was because technology is kind of missing in the field of physical and forensic anthropology.
Okay.
Or rather, it's very minimal. And it's not as advanced as it could be. So I really wanted to kind of bring in something that is not there yet.
Okay, and we'll actually be going into that a bit more later, actually,
Yeah.
it's in one of your events. But if we go back to the first event, I'm just going to think there now. We have academic failure, you said. This is you said pressure of culture and shame, you mentioned. So that you said that was like more of a younger age throughout high school years. Failing certain subjects, etc. So can you elaborate on that time for me? So what you kind of like learned from that, the kind of, there's going to be obvious kind of negatives, but also perhaps the kind of outcome and what helps you, etc. Can you just elaborate on that kind of time?
Sure. No, sure. So
I was just like, sure.
sure.
I was like, Rachel.
Fine. Okay, so academic failure. So like I was never a very academic student. Like I hated school. I hated like the educational part of school, side of school. I love, there were certain subjects that I loved, like the creative arts, drama, music. So I'm a musician.
What instruments do you play?
I play the guitar and the piano,
Ooh.
and I sing as well.
We're going to have a little demonstration of that later.
Oh man, I shouldn't have said it.
Oh dear, I shouldn't have said yes.
should.
Thank God, this is my exposure. This is my time. This is my claim
This is my
to
big
fame.
break. Oh man, oh man. So I kind of like I love the quote unquote extracurricular, the dramatic arts, and music subjects.
Yeah.
I loved English as well. Literature is something that's quite close to my heart. When it came to science, I really I loved science, but I loved the practical side of science rather than like the theoretical sit down, write exams kind of thing.
That's what I'm like as well, actually. I know
Yeah.
this sounds ridiculous, but I find that like, so I would consider myself a bit of a nerd. Like I love learning all
Yeah.
sorts, particularly with science. But the funny thing, people go, oh, for God's sake, when I say this, like I hate being examined on it. I don't feel the need that I need to be examined on it.
Yep.
Like without science, it's just one of those things that I learn kind of for me. I like bringing up in casual conversation, I was talking about facts and stuff.
Yeah.
But as soon as I struggled with that when I was kind of younger as well, the
Yeah.
examination part. So it's interesting that you said that.
Definitely. I think I mean, examining people. It's a very conventional. It's a very conventional concept, and I don't think it works for everybody.
Yeah, I know.
It's not something that is. You can't. Yeah, it's not something that everyone can do, and I think we need to address that in the whole school scene and university scene. I think changes need to be made for sure. Like I'm so thankful that for my master's, I think it was like 75% coursework and practical, and
Okay.
only there was only like a 25% whatchamacallit, exam. So it was easy. Like that side of things was, it was a lot easier for me to kind of deal with because I hate exams.
But you mentioned actually that you failed biology in your sixth
That's
and then
right.
failed chemistry A levels.
I did.
So
I did.
what do you think kind of led up to that, or how did you go live without saying the obvious now? How did you feel? I felt fantastic.
Yeah, it was so great failing. No, so year 6, I was actually still in India. I remember the scene, and I was the thing is in India, there's a huge shame culture. Like if you don't do anything, if you don't do the expected things, you should be ashamed of yourself.
Right.
And that is
that's
personally,
throughout.
yeah, through and through, in life,
Yeah.
not just in education. You follow like a certain pattern, a certain way of living, and if anybody kind of even, excuse me, if anyone kind of goes off of that track, you ought to be ashamed of yourself.
Yeah.
Personally, I don't agree with that. I think that's absolute nonsense. So for me, yeah. So year six, I just my mom's a biology teacher,
Okay.
so to fail biology is like a huge no no.
So you felt there was added pressure onto that
Oh,
as well.
100%,
Did
100%.
did you ever like kind of try to keep it secret that you were or were you very kind of open with your family, kind of like, I failed this, or I'm struggling with this, or did you find that you as I say, you want to kind of keep it more to yourself?
Well, at that age, like I think I was when you're in year six, you're like 10 or
Okay, yeah.
11. At that age,
I'm
I
still adapting. In Ireland, it's like now does the grades here. I'm like, oh, listen, I
yeah,
just I'm still adapting to the kind
I
of
hear you, I hear
the
you.
education system here. So
Yeah, so I was so young, I didn't even know. Yeah, it wasn't the most important thing to me. Like to like pass exams. I was too busy having fun in life,
yeah,
as I always am. So I no, I didn't speak to anyone about it. It was just you had to pass your exams to a very good standard.
okay,
Like that was it. That was the expectation that was laid out. So years going back to this incident, year six, I just failed the exam, and I was brought out to the front of the class to be ridiculed in front of everybody.
what?
Yeah, yeah. So there, usually classes consisted of like 20 plus students, 20 to 29 students.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, it was so embarrassing. I was so embarrassed. I wanted to cry and run out of the room. Um, this actually had a huge impact on. Well, I didn't realize that it would have such a huge impact on my life. To this day, I have severe exam anxiety,
Yeah, I feel
like
you
the fear
still.
of failure.
Yeah, 100%.
But not the rest of my, like other aspects of my life,
Okay.
just in writing exams.
Okay.
So so after that, thankfully, just before I like cried and ran out of the room, my mom, she'd been seeing what had happened, because the way the classes were the setup was that my classroom faced her laboratory.
Oh, wow, okay.
So she had seen what was going on. So she came running to like rescue me out of the
Yeah.
classroom. So she had arrived just on time, and she took me out of the class, and I was just sobbing my eyes out, and I can't remember the rest of what had happened. So kind of life went on, moved to England, and continued to be terrible at academia, and moving on to A levels. I hated chemistry, but I
Okay.
had to do it to pursue the subjects the degree that I
Yeah.
wanted to pursue.
That's a tough one as well. Like, I mean, chemistry, if you don't feel like you're good at it or you don't like it, I mean, it's
Absolutely,
a lot of
absolutely.
detail.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Shout out to all those
Yeah.
people doing chemistry.
All the chemists, I feel you. I feel your pain. So I failed chemistry.
For A level.
A levels. So I actually only graduated with two A levels, two and a half,
Okay.
because I still have the AS chemistry. So I did chemistry, biology, and music.
Okay.
Got through music and biology, but chemistry was the tough one. It just so happened that I'm very fortunate and blessed to have gotten through through the tough time of failing chemistry, but still, you know, got the opportunity to do the degree that I wanted to do.
Yeah. So what was the exact degree?
So I thought I needed chemistry to do forensics.
Okay. Yeah, that's an interesting one.
But when I failed chemistry, I applied to do genetics and molecular biology instead,
Okay.
for which we didn't need chemistry back in the days. I don't know about now. So this is incredible. So I went for the interview, passed the interview, and they said, yeah, we can give you an offer. And so they gave me the offer. Results day comes, and they find out that that genetics was full up.
Wow.
And so they came back to me and said, genetics is full, but we have a slot in forensic science. Do you want to take it? And I was like, Yes, please. Because
I'm gonna
that's
say yeah. I'm gonna go ahead with that.
yeah. Well, we'll go with that. So it was, for me, it was, divine intervention.
It's
So
all coming together
it is
now.
all coming together. Things falling into place.
So did you before that, when you failed chemistry, did you just think, oh my God, that's it now? Or did you think, okay, moving on?
I thought it was the end of the world.
Yeah,
I
okay,
fully
so
thought it was the end of the
yeah.
world. Because academia, again, the expectations, you're expected to excel. If you don't excel in academia, you can't get into university, or you can't get into a good university.
Yeah.
And it has like a domino effect, which I don't know, I think there needs to be a huge change in, how schools examine their students' knowledge, and how we get into university, and the
But
whole
even like
process.
the classroom setting, I'm not sure if you've actually heard of this. I thought this was very interesting. Of course, I think it's right anyway. It seems to make sense when I saw it. So do you know the classroom layout? The way it's all kind of gridded, the tables behind each other and the way it's structured. I know it's kind of changing now in some schools. They're like, no, we do it in the U shape or whichever. But that kind of stereotypical, tables behind each other. Apparently that was done to prepare people for the army. Now, back in the day, it was only boys had the education, girls didn't go to school.
Yeah.
So it's actually to put them in that structure to get them into army formation. But some schools still have that. And I'm not sure
ridiculous.
that they're even aware that that's why they're doing it. So when I saw that I thought that was quite interesting.
That's really interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's
So,
really
I mean, as I
interesting.
say, some people might go, no, that's not it. But I think it does make sense. Like,
Yeah.
it is quite interesting. But no, it's funny that you say that. So you kind of like experience those kind of like feelings of failure and kind of like, oh, what am I going to do next? Which I'm sure a lot of people can relate to. But then you got in. So, you're in university, and I think that actually kind of brings us onto the second time. It links to the second time and event, which is essentially you gain a master's degree in forensic anthropology,
I
as you
did.
said, against all odds.
Against all odds.
Tell us about that.
That's
How
a
do you
bit
kind of-
crazy,
yeah,
actually.
tell us about that.
So just before I went off to do my undergrad, I binge watched Bones.
Okay.
Have you watched Bones?
I've heard of Bones, actually.
So Kathy Rice is an anthropologist, and she wrote these a series of novels that were turned into. Well, actually, I think the what is it called, the TV show. Gosh, at a loss for words. The TV show was loosely based on on Kathy Rice's novels.
Okay.
And so I binge watched like I think there were like 10 seasons back then. And I just like religiously sat down and watched them all. And I was like, oh my gosh, I want to be that. I want to be her. I want to be
Yeah.
Bones.
I want to be Bones.
I want to be
You don't hear that every day. I want that on a t-shirt. I want to be Bones.
Yeah. I want to be Bones. So just a little like background story of why this was such a huge event. It was when I was around 12, 13 years of age. We were at this family party. One of our family friends, I think he was turning 60 or something. So we went to his house for a dinner party. And one of our other family friends, asked all kinds of nonsense questions like, what do you want to become when you grow up? Like, come on, man. I was 13. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I did know. Like,
Yeah.
I really wanted to. I always knew I wanted to get into natural sciences.
Okay.
Maybe that's because my mom's a biologist and I just kind of wanted to follow in her footsteps.
Yeah.
Funny enough, my aunt is a chemist and my other aunt is a physicist. But the physicist, she went into banking. So she kind of gave up on physics.
This is contrast.
Yeah, indeed. So like all my entire family are full of scientists and mathematicians. So it just made sense that I went into it too. But I loved Steve Irwin. Steve
Oh
Irwin.
yeah. I mean, he's a legend.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Like he is one of my all-time heroes.
And his children are really following. his
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I can't remember their names.
Oh, listen, I have no idea. But I can go Google that later.
Robert. I think Robert has his son.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I can't remember.
It's
their
going to be
names.
funny because the listeners are literally going to be like, if they know it, they're going to be shouting it like,
Yeah.
guys,
It's not Robert.
do your research.
Yeah.
Listen, I did not know we're going to be talking about
I'm so
Steve
sorry.
Irwin.
I apologize, Irwins. I apologize.
So Irwin Juniors.
Irwin Juniors. So I like Steve Irwin. Like I wanted to be like him. So
Okay.
he was a natural scientist. He was a naturalist.
Yeah.
So I say to this guy, I say to him, oh yeah, I know, I want to be a natural scientist. I want to be a naturalist. And he was like, oh, where are you gonna go do that? And at that age, I'm like, you don't know what you're capable of. So I had big dreams. I said, I'm gonna go do that in Cambridge.
Oh, yeah.
Why not? When you're 13, you have that. You kind of
We're all
anything
going
is-
to Cambridge at
Absolutely.
13.
Oh yeah, anything's possible
Yeah.
when you're that young, and I truly believe anything's possible, whatever age you are.
Yeah.
As long as you put your mind to it, I don't think anything should stop you. So this guy laughs at me. He's like full on laughing at me, like taking the piss out of me. Ooh,
It's
am
okay.
I allowed to say that?
Yeah, you're allowed to say what you want. This is a raw podcast. There
It's
is no
a raw
filter here.
podcast. So he's like taking the piss out of me. He's like,
Also, I love the way
laugh-
that you think piss is a bad word.
Is it not?
I mean, I don't.
Questionable.
Rated R. I'm gonna put on explicit content. I'm just gonna put it all over this podcast.
Oh yeah, Mark E.
Yeah, all the Irish listeners gonna be laughing like, yeah, good one.
Oh man, too funny. So this guy, back to I can't concentrate anymore.
And that's the end of the show. Thank you very much. I'm just kidding.
So this guy is laughing at me, and my mom is like so embarrassed of what just happened, and so she like takes me aside, and the conversation. My dad, I think, has another conversation with him just to kind of cut off any kind of awkwardness. But that really affected me. I'm like, someone just laughed at my dreams.
Yeah.
And that, I was like, I was taken aback. I think I went into the bathroom and I was so upset. I wanted to cry, but I didn't cry. I just held back the tears. I was like, I'm not crying for this guy.
But what was the biggest kind of reason that you think that you were almost like, I presume you felt offended by him laughing as well?
Yeah.
So it's like,
Greatly.
what aspect do you think was the most offensive? Was it, the fact that just it's your dream? Was it the fact that who you were? Was it the fact who he was? Like, just what do you think was
I
the
think
biggest
all
kind
of it,
together?
all of it together. It was a combination of all of them. It's like, how dare you laugh at my dreams? You don't even know me.
Yeah.
You don't know what I'm capable of. You don't know what the future holds for me. So, and I think it's so important to encourage children to aim high. The reason why there are so many and I hate to use this word. Please cut this off if it's offensive. I hate mediocrity, and I think
This is raw. People get offended. Look,
it is what it is.
This
get
is what
offended.
I wanted with this. It's like I think the offense police are a lot these days, though, aren't they? I just want as I say, it's your story, right? It's your kind of your journey, whichever. So it's like it's gonna be raw. It's gonna
That's
be
right.
You say what you want to say, and if people get offended by it, they get offended by it.
Yeah, y'all get offended all you damn well won't. I'm joking. I love y'all. So anyway,
It's like, follow me on Instagram. I'm just kidding.
I'm gonna block everybody. No, I think I truly believe that we don't encourage children to kind of aim high. We don't push kids these days to not just kind of lay down and take it, but we need to encourage them to actually go do something, be someone. And I'm a true believer in that. I think people need to be encouraged from a young age to pursue their dreams.
Yeah.
And go at it regardless of what people think of you or people think of your dreams.
Yeah. No, I think a lot of people will admire that. It's just interesting though, because you said when you're younger, obviously the past kind of failures, whichever academically. So you did your degree and obviously then on to your master's, but after your degree, because a lot of people kind of contemplate masters, were you kind of in the zone where you're a lot more enthusiastic and confident in yourself? What kind of stem going, I'm going to continue doing this? Was it just for the passion of the subject, or was it like, pressure to kind of continue? What kind of fueled that?
I think there was a pressure to do a master's, but
There
no
was.
pressure to pursue any specific kind of master's. So I took on the pressure to do a master's to do something that I really wanted to do.
That's good, because I think there's a lot of people that are doing, whether it's degree or masters or whichever, that they actually aren't really truly interested in. They just think, I have to do it, I'm not going to get a job otherwise.
Exactly.
Which I think is sad, to be honest.
Very much so.
Yeah.
I truly think that you have to wait until you know what you want to master in.
Exactly.
And I've just been very blessed to kind of know at a young age what I wanted to do.
I'm a master of conversation and talking far
Yeah,
too
great.
much.
Yes,
so.
you are. I love it. I wouldn't have it any other way.
Thank you so much. I'm getting emotional.
So I knew I wanted to do anthropology because I had binge watched Bones.
See, isn't it amazing how like one thing stems to
Yeah.
another? But so you could say you got your master's degree, and what kind of like emotions did you feel at that point? Did you feel like, right, that's that phase complete now, or are you just straight on to the next?
Well, this is the thing. Like I don't necessarily look at life in phases.
Okay.
I just kind of take it as it comes.
Yeah. It's just nice.
It's like sometimes I understand the need to put things to rest in order to move on. So that when we're talking about phases, that's the only thing that I would say I take it as a phase of life. So, relationships, the end of a relationship, that's a
Yeah.
phase. I've put that to rest and now I got to move on.
Yeah.
I've learned something from that.
Yeah.
I take it and I'm going to, run with it.
Yeah.
But with going back to the masters, I think I'm still working with my professor on this project.
Oh yeah, and you we might as well share this.
Yes.
You've got a paper
I do.
that's going to be published in February.
Yes, indeed.
That is very, very
Well,
exciting.
hopefully in February. Do you
How
wanna know
embarrassing if it's actually not, guys. No, I'm joking.
What's that?
I said how embarrassing if it's not actually published.
I know. That
I'm
would
joking. I
be
am
super
joking.
crazy. Yeah, do you want to know the exact title?
Let's go. Okay, guys, you brace yourselves for this one, I'd say.
Hang on, let me find the exact title. It's such a long title.
How, you don't know it off by heart?
Mate,
She's like, bear with me.
just one moment, please.
But you're kind of the topic it's on.
So
You can be
it's
kept with it.
essentially it's utilizing the patella, the fascious patella.
Just for those who don't know what it is.
That's the kneecap.
Yeah. I'm such a biologist myself, so I actually knew what that was. Yay me. Gold star in the forehead.
Yeah.
But yeah, as I say, some people won't know what that is. That's fine. So yes, the kneecap.
So it's a kneecap, and we utilize the kneecap to tell the difference between white and black individuals. That's kind of the high level description of it. There's so much more to it. Metric analysis, we use metric analysis because as the world evolves, we need more, what's the word? More,
Detail or see, I'm just guessing. I'm throwing words out. I'm
No,
trying to involve
need-
myself in this. Is like not knowing a clue. Not knowing a clue. I can't even speak. Not having a clue. See?
no, we need more finite
Okay. Yeah.
answers.
Okay. Yeah.
And I'm not saying these will give you finite answers, but it's like one step towards kind of putting down a methodology that will be more accurate, I
Yeah.
guess.
No,
Yeah,
that's.
but
That sounds really exciting. Though. I think to
Essentially.
have like something published.
Yeah, I'm very excited.
I'm excited
very
for you. How long is it?
The paper itself?
Yeah.
It's like 21 pages long. It's not that bad.
Okay. Cool.
If that.
Yeah.
I think when you publish it, it has to be like 4 sides. But when you elaborate it, it's like 21 pages.
Okay. Well, fair play. Well done for that. I will. The only thing I'll be publishing is this podcast. So good.
That you're a published author.
Exactly. Actually, I make sure you put, give myself a shout out. Yeah. in
Yeah,
this
I will.
paper. Like
I
to
got you,
Amy.
girl.
With love.
With love. Dedicated.
So it's past the point now where you say you've done your master's degree, but it's interesting because your third event that you kind of mentioned is dealing with the insecurity and body image struggle. So this is kind of diverting a bit.
Yeah.
And this is like more early adulthood, so you're past the master's stage at this point. So that's quite interesting because it's different. What kind of brought you into this topic? What?
Good question.
Yeah, that's my job. I have to ask these good questions.
So, insecurities and body image struggle.
Yeah.
Where do I start? So, growing up, I was not concerned about how I looked.
Yeah.
Like, I think in my family, all the women, we never really struggled with insecurity whatsoever.
Yeah. Okay, that's nice, I suppose.
Yeah, very much so. Which
A
is
lot of families do. I can
yes,
imagine.
yeah. Which
Do you
is
think that's a cultural thing?
I do think that's a cultural
Okay.
thing, but I think that is more of a family thing rather than
individual family,
yeah,
okay.
absolutely.
So
Because
you would know other families that say it could be totally opposite, or
100%.
okay,
100%. I think in our family, the women have very much been encouraged to and supported by the men to do well, both in their careers and in life in general. And like the men in our family have like, they've had good marriages. And like my grandma and grandpa, they were like in love till the day my grand passed away.
yeah,
Like I could see that. I don't think they ever even said it to each other, but I know it because it's
Yeah.
not in our culture to tell people that we love each other, you know.
Okay.
But instead we just show it.
right.
It's more of a deed than a word thing.
It's interesting how different cultures though express that,
Absolutely.
isn't it? Some people are so like you have to express it.
Yeah, you gotta
and
tell me
really
you love me every day, and I'm
Yeah.
like, oh my gosh.
But some people then would actually think, oh yeah, you really do. You know, it's important.
Yeah, absolutely,
And
absolutely.
others are like, no, it's how I show it. And I suppose some kids would struggle with that, don't they? Though, at a young
Yeah.
age, you kind of want to hear it and you want to be.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure, for sure. I think as the world evolves, our psychology or the complexity of our psychology also evolves. And I don't know if you've heard of like love languages and whatnot. This is really corny, cheesy thing where they identify how different people feel loved.
Okay.
So like you've got words of affirmation
Yeah.
and you've got
Cheeky text.
cheek. Wait.
Slide into my DMs. That's the modern one. The love
Oh,
language.
man. I think, do you know, I think I'm a words girl.
Yeah?
I think I'm a words of affirmation person. And also deeds. I think if you truly love me, you will show it
Yeah.
rather than just say that you love me.
Yeah.
Quality time as well, I guess. I think everything ties in.
So you believe, say, actions speak louder than
Yeah,
words?
definitely.
Okay.
Definitely. I think if I was with someone who never told me they love me, but they showed it, I would be
Happy?
yeah, I'd be happy.
That's interesting because other people might think the opposite. They're like, no, if he's not telling me, there's something wrong.
No, absolutely not. Like it's it's holding my hand
Yeah.
or
What's your view? I know we're going slightly off topic, but that's how this works, I suppose. What's your view on PDA?
oh
for
don't
people-
overdo it, guys.
Yeah.
Don't overdo it. I think it's really beautiful when like you. Okay, what is the need? First of all, I think you've got to really examine your the reason behind your PDAing.
I should probably just say, in case people don't know what PDA is, it's
Public
display
display
of
of
affection.
affection.
Essentially, what it says in the tin there, showing to the public that
Yeah,
it could be, but it ranges, doesn't it? Like holding hands all the way up to
definitely.
snogging on the tube, which is
Playing
not nice.
tonsil hockey. It's just
Tonsil hockey. Oh my days, I haven't heard that one before.
Have you not?
No.
What?
Oh my.
That's crazy.
See, is it? Yeah, because
I think it's a very American saying though.
yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
I haven't heard of that one.
Tonsil hockey. Yeah, I think it's definitely American.
But you like PDA?
Nope.
No, I don't. I'm not a huge.
I'm not a
I like when people that hold hands.
Hold-
Like,
yeah.
You're saying bye her hello.
Yeah.
You know, like the stations. I totally get that. I think
Yeah,
that's absolutely.
but when it like crosses that line, I'm like,
people are
absolutely
too touchy feely and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I'm like, please,
not. Stop it, for the sake of God,
for the sake of God,
for the
guys.
love of God, guys, please stop.
But yeah, I suppose everyone has the right to have their opinion.
Absolutely,
on that. Yeah, it's not the end of
absolutely.
the world, but it's
Definitely. I think I'm not gonna. I think it was yesterday. No, was it today when just before I met with you?
yeah,
At Covent Gardens, because we're that cool.
we're bougie.
We're bougie like that. This couple
We're not
were
that bougie, by the
way. She so is.
Oh yeah, going back on the Irish farm, like totally bougie.
That's so bougie. I think that's like the
Yeah.
definition of bougie.
Okay, fair enough.
I love it.
Subjective, but anyway. So you're in Covent Garden anyway. You were saying.
Yeah, and this couple were just going at it, and I'm like, no.
Whoa, going at it
No,
now,
sorry,
but-
tonsil hockey. Tonsil hockey.
Oh, I see. Jeez.
Oh my gosh. Oh my
I was
gosh.
just like, okay, Covent Garden.
That is not the place to do that kind of stuff. No, I appreciate, like, I'd hold hands in public.
Oh yeah, that's something. I
That-
don't even. I know that sounds ridiculous, but I don't even like count that as proper PDA. I know. I
Yeah,
know it is,
yeah,
but it's.
yeah.
I've never considered.
Because it's not overpowering. Like,
No,
you're
not
not,
at all.
like, in anybody's face by doing that.
Yeah.
But I think for me personally anyway, I think that's where it kind of stops. Like, anything beyond that is like, mm-mm.
Do you think, because if we go back to say insecurities and body images and stuff, do you think say seeing PDA affects people in terms of their confidence? Because I know some people bring it up like, oh, if someone's single or struggling with say a breakup and they're seeing that. Now you can argue then going that's not their problem, they're a total stranger. Do you think that say intense PDA and things like that affects other people in terms of say their own issues?
That is a very good question, and I think that definitely needs to be addressed in a wider conversation. I think
On the second round, this is going to be an
Round two.
extended podcast. Yeah.
I think yes. So the way someone would react to PDA may be out of a place of insecurity.
Yeah.
I can't speak for anybody else, but for myself, I think I just feel awkward when I see people like snogging.
Yeah.
And I'm like, the moment I see like tongue, I'm like, nope.
Yeah, because for me, it's like I'm actually quite like very comfortable with myself in the moment. But it's like when I see like too much, I'm kind of just like,
Yeah.
oh, I don't know.
I don't think that reflects any.
It does depend on the individual, though, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Like some people are like everyone's going through different stories and different parts of their life, and we just don't really know. But I suppose if we go like onto say body image though, because you did mention that you
Yeah,
were
body
dealing with an
image.
insecurity. What insecurity?
So, I very much. So I'm very comfortable with myself. I used to do sports, so I have a very athletic build anyway. Like I have muscles.
Gains.
Gains. But at the same time, I have a very hourglass figure, which comes from being Indian.
Yeah.
We just have wide hips and a small waist and big tatas.
Sorry, I got the white hips too. I call them the Deneen birthing hips. That's what I call them. I've inherited them from my aunts.
I love it.
Yeah, I love it as well. Yeah, it's like my connection. I love it.
You just gotta embrace yourself. Like this is what you got, girl.
Yeah.
You got one life with this body, so you might as well make the most of it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was I've been very comfortable with my size, with my build. But when I went to uni, like there was just, I think I was open, like I saw what boys wanted, and it wasn't an athletic body.
Yeah.
Not that it bothered
What was
me.
it then? Because it's changing. Because these are all phases, aren't
But
they?
this is the
Was it
thing.
the skinny phase? Like
It was a skinny face.
Okay, because now
Everyone wanted a
that's
skinny
kind of
girl.
muscly phase. Now, isn't it?
Exactly.
So it's changing.
Now everyone wants a big booty.
Yeah.
No, I don't have a big booty. So it's just a bit of
It's
a
not
lose
subjective
lose.
as well. Yeah, it's weird how it changes because it was like in the 90s, isn't it? It was all like super skinny, and now it's like we need to be really muscly and
Yeah.
thick and stuff like that, as they say. So yeah, I mean it is interesting how I do think it is a phase. I think what is the next one going to be?
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
going to
yeah.
be. It's
Oh,
going to change again. We
absolutely.
just don't know, and like so. But you were absolutely fine. But you said going into uni.
Yeah.
It changed.
Yeah. It definitely changed at uni. By the way, just to clarify, it didn't bother me what boys wanted. It bothered me what was on the magazines.
Right.
And as a result, it showed that that's not what I had, which
Yeah.
is like what is universally appreciated is not what I am.
But we're kind of conditioned to kind of go like, this is what we need to look like. As
Yep.
in the media is a huge thing, isn't it?
Absolutely.
But see,
Absolutely.
it started at uni. But then you said because it was after as well. Early adulthood, after say your masters and things like that.
Oh yeah, like to
Did
this.
it escalate there?
It didn't, not so much escalated. I just got to the point where I I'd always be wearing makeup, and I'd always, I just didn't feel comfortable in my own skin. And one day I just woke up and I was like, you know what? I'm just so unhappy.
Wow.
I'm just not going to do this anymore. So I just threw away all the makeup bottles and just decided that I wasn't going to be insecure.
Yeah.
For me, it was that simple.
Okay, because I can imagine that's very much not the case for a lot of people.
100%. And I 100% believe that sometimes it's a process. You know, insecurity is.
But maybe it was for you. Maybe it was building up. Do you know what I mean? Without you
Maybe,
realizing.
maybe it was without me realizing that I was going through this. But at one point, I just woke up and I said, it is what it is. This is what I got, and I'm going to work with it. I love sports, and I love, I love going to the gym, and I take care of myself. And the whole point of going to the gym and being, active, physically active, is to sustain your life. Is to live longer. And for me, when I realized that, see, my grandma always told me I was beautiful, and I just constantly remembered that.
Yeah, my parents would say that to me as well. I remember there was a scene in do you know Angus Thongs and Perfect Snuggie? Yeah, and they're like, he's like, you're beautiful, and she's like, you have to say that. You're my dad. And I started using that on my dad actually as well. I thought it's true, they have to say it, but the thing is I think it is kind of important to hear it from a young age, because that's when it's kind of
definitely,
to kind of, especially with all the pressures outside now that essentially tell us otherwise, isn't it? So, but yeah, so you kind of woke up one day and you're like, right, forget it. I am what I am.
Yeah.
What, looking back from that experience, say the positives and negatives, have you kind of like learned from it? So obviously we have the negatives, I presume, and the kind of stress perhaps of like...
I was so stressed.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Of living up to people's expectations.
Oh, 100%. Girl, I tell you something. I was so stressed that I had stress-induced hair fall.
Interesting. Wow. Okay.
Like, I was that stressed. At uni, you don't really get, good nutrition anyway.
But that's the last thing you really needed, isn't it?
That's exactly. And I was so concerned about my body image that I was stressed. I was just so stressed. And I was dating this guy, and he would constantly look at other girls. And like, for me, that was like comparing me to somebody else.
Did you feel paranoid about that? Because I've actually spoken to
back
a
in
few
the days,
people
yes.
I know.
Yeah.
And things can, I suppose, spiral out of control in some ways, as in like, you see these kind of funny things about guys are actually just thinking about, for example, the football fixtures, but because they're daydreaming, you might be thinking, oh my God, he's thinking about another girl and things like that. Did you find that you became a lot more paranoid?
No, he actually confessed he was.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. So he was he actually cheated on me.
Not ideal.
No, not at all. In fact, he definitely, he was a little player.
Yeah.
So that kind of added to the insecurity.
I could only imagine.
I didn't feel good enough.
Yeah.
I didn't feel like, I should have broken up with him a long time ago. I don't know why I stayed in that relationship.
But did you start thinking, though, this is what have you done wrong?
Yes.
Not
I
what
was
he
like,
did wrong.
What can I do to keep this guy happy? Instead of, what's
and a lot of people do that. They're like, I'm in love with him, but at the same time, I shouldn't be. But I think they call it the halo effect. There could be 99 things wrong with someone, but they have one good quality that keeps, essentially, it tends to happen more with girls like in guys, but I'm sure it happens the other way around. Yeah. And a lot of the reason could be just they're good looking. You're sexually attracted to them, whichever.
Yeah.
So it's because they're good looking, or sometimes it's status. That they're popular around town, whichever. It can be whichever. But it tends to be something more materialistic or image related. But they have 90 other things like that are more problematic. Exactly. But because of that one thing, they see it as a halo. It's called the halo effect. And do you think that you perhaps
100%.
Yeah.
I think I just stuck around with him because we'd been together for a while, and I was like, well, this
stability.
Is it. Yeah, stability, and he's studious, so there's a good chance we'd end up stable in life. Also, he was in the same faith community So it
Okay.
was a lot of things that was good on the outside. I kind of held on to those.
Is it them being in the kind of same kind of like as you said faith community? Is that important to you?
That was important to me.
Was,
Was,
but
yeah.
is not now.
I don't know. So
Okay.
I,
You're going through a different stage in your life
yeah,
then.
yeah. So I think as we were talking earlier, I'm kind of exploring faith.
Yeah.
I was raised a Christian, and there was a time over the past, well, just the past year, 2 years, have kind of like really made me ask the questions that I'd suppressed for a long time. And again, this is another elaborate conversation to be had. I kind of just said, okay, I need to stop and I need to step back from the church and I need to think of what I'm believing. I think I'm a disciple of Jesus, in essentially, but I don't agree with many things that the church stands for.
Yeah. So would you say you kind of see religion and say the church slightly separately then?
I think I see religion and spirituality separately.
Okay.
Sorry, religion and faith, and not spirituality.
Right. Can I ask how you feel in terms of linking, say, going back to body image? Do you find that is there a way to link faith in terms of that? How do you think certain
100%.
religions portray? Is there pressure for it to look a certain way that stems from say religion?
So I think, not to look so much. So I would say one of the major things that really helped me with my insecurity is my faith.
Okay.
Like just knowing who I am
Being
in
born the
the
way you kind
eyes
of
of God.
right.
So it's like throughout the Bible we read of great female leaders and like women who just kind of who laid the law down. And I don't think it's addressed widely in the church, which it should be.
What female leadership?
Yes.
Yeah.
And so I just took those women as an example and I saw myself in them. And that really, really, really helped me with kind of healing from insecurity.
Yeah.
Or like deciding one day not to be insecure anymore.
Yeah.
So I think faith helped me,
Okay.
not
So
religion.
yeah. Okay.
Yeah, because I think religion told me to be a different kind of woman that I'm not. I'm very loud and outspoken. I have a very loud personality.
Same. I'm just kidding. I'm totally quiet. Like just always silent. Trying to get me to talk is just impossible.
I think that's why we get along.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, like I literally met this woman like what 2 weeks ago, but I feel like I've known her like 2 years. But I've done in cliche, you know, it's literally ridiculous. I think we actually had to. We both didn't kind of realize that until earlier today when we met. We're talking to each other like
Like
oh, do you
we've
remember
known each
this?
other for a while.
And
Yeah,
you
yeah,
told me
yeah.
you're like, oh, you remember I did that, and I was like, no, I don't. I met you 2 weeks ago.
Exactly.
So yeah, that's
That's wonderful.
so like I mean you've now kind of at another stage of your life now, so you've kind of gone through those you know those highs and lows. Looking back, what can you say so it got you to where you are now? What have you kind of learned from that, and what kind of values and morals or life lessons have you taken from those events that you are going to use kind of for the future?
Good question. For the future, remember who you are. I
Yeah.
think bottom line is remember who you are.
Yeah.
Like I think
And you've learned a lot about that from those events.
absolutely 100%. I think for me, I look at the women in my family. The women who have who've identified their weaknesses and
Yeah.
who've worked on their weaknesses, who have been strong leaders, who have so like therefore there have been widows in my family.
Okay.
And those women raised, you know, more than 3 boys on their own. And this is stuff that you don't see happening well at this day and
Yeah.
age. And I'm not absolutely credits to like and like bigging up all single moms.
I think the media doesn't help them though. Do
No,
you know what
it
I mean?
doesn't.
It kind of like portrays them that this is
Exactly.
But actually, a lot of them are just doing a really, really good job.
Exactly.
Shout out to all the single parents. out there.
Absolutely. I mean, high five, girlfriends.
And even the single dads
Single
as well.
dads too. High
Yeah.
five, boyfriends.
Husbands, wives, whichever you want nowadays.
Absolutely. I mean, good on y'all. Like, honestly, like, I've seen good single parenting and I've seen bad single parenting.
Yeah.
And I truly think that it really depends on the support you have around you.
Yeah.
In the Eastern culture, it's so different. Women just kind of pick up the slack or pick up where things have been left bare, and they just carry everything and they run with it.
Yeah.
And I appreciate that it's different in the Western culture where we do need support, and that is okay. Like we should be supporting single moms, single dads,
Yeah, I mean,
orphans, you know, whatever, you know, like widows, widowers. We 100% need to be helping each other out.
But even like our species, like as a human race, it's like we are meant to be surrounded by other people.
100%.
We're not, you know, so if people who are, say, struggling, they feel like alone in something. Like I'm obviously, I always try to promote positive mental health and stuff like that. So my
Definitely.
background, but it's even going into these kind of topics, like, you know, single parenthood and stuff like that. I suppose in terms of asking for help, like people aren't meant to be alone. They're not meant to have no support system. We're built
Definitely.
upon a kind of society, even going back to the cave era, do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
We're all,
yeah,
it's
yeah.
together, that kind of, people even looked after each other's kids and helped
Oh,
out.
yeah.
So I
Yeah,
suppose
yeah,
that's
yeah.
interesting.
Absolutely.
But no, that's super interesting actually.
You know the saying, it takes a village to raise a child.
Yeah, that's
That-
true. The teachers,
Oh,
everything.
man.
Yeah, it is mad.
It's
but-
a team effort, yeah. It's a team effort. We were made for community.
yeah,
No man is an island.
yeah.
All that cliche coming out.
Yeah, check that out, cliche. Hashtag cliche. Just going in, just to wrap up now, Rachel, if I asked you, say, your greatest influence, kind of like a person, who would you say that is? Whether it's like someone you know well, or maybe it's someone famous, whoever. Who do you think, or one of those has had a really, really strong influence in your life in terms of getting you to where you are right now?
That is a very good. I don't think it's just one person. I think it's like I keep mentioning. I think it's the women in my family. My mom, my two aunts, and my grandma.
Yeah,
I think they have been influential in the person I am today. Like starting from my grandma, she raised me. When my mom was at work, I would spend most of my time with her. She was a rebel. She was a wild one. And so I think I take after her in that I don't really, while I appreciate conventionalism, I think I actively rebel against it. And my mom, she taught me that there is a place for conventionalism. My Aunt Grace taught me that we can use conventionalism to our benefit.
yeah.
And my other aunt, Mercy, she taught me how to do that. And I think all these women have, raised me to be this person I am today, to be fearless, to be they encouraged me to go get it,
Yeah.
you know? And one of the biggest reasons why I'm moving is to go explore my family heritage in Portugal.
Yeah, so okay, so the listeners probably don't understand right now what's
yeah.
going on. Yeah, so basically you're now, if we go to getting there right now, you're at a place where you're moving from the UK and you're moving to Lisbon.
Yes, I am.
You're excited about that?
I'm very excited.
Yeah.
I can't wait.
Yeah, that's a
Come
big
and see
new
me.
chapter. I shall. You don't need to tell me twice. Anyone knows me. It's like Skyscanner is like my lethal weapon. Yeah, and book another flight or travel away.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
£20, man, one way.
I
Can't
know.
go wrong, can you?
Oh my god, I think we should get sponsorship from these now.
Truly,
Already,
I think so.
But listen, I just want to thank you very much for sharing your kind of story in your own words as well, which is nice. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this experience. I'm sure it was a reflective one for you.
Thank you.
Have you
It was, definitely.
Yeah. Have you got any other thing you'd like to say just before we close up? It's okay if you don't, by the way.
Be yourself
Yeah.
to people, to anyone really. Be yourself. Explore and know who you are, and act fearlessly.
Ooh, deep. Damn, girl.
Damn, girl.
Yeah, but thank you so much again. I really appreciate it. And best
Anytime.
of luck now with your future.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye.